everyone, it's Jamie, and here I'm going to be giving you my ranking of the MCU. Few little things here. One, I will not be doing the Marvel shorts because I have not seen most of them, and they're not very relevant. Maybe I'll make a list of them someday. Today is not that day. Also, I will be ranking 20 movies, not 21, because I haven't seen Incredible Hulk, and I'm never going to, and I have a pretty good idea of where it would be on this list. And it's not like anyone's really wants to hear my opinion on the Incredible Hulk, because I don't think anyone wants to hear anyone's opinion on the Incredible Hulk. The best thing I've heard about it is that it's not bad, which doesn't inspire me confidence. So this will not be a list of the entire MCU, but it will be a list of the entire MCU that Marvel acknowledges, because they've literally retconned everything in Incredible Hulk by this point. So, yep. Let's just get into it. Coming in at number 20 is something that I am sure some of this is going to be controversial. This isn't. It's Thor: The Dark World. This is not high on anyone's list, I think. In fact, I think it makes most people's, bottom 3. Now, here's the thing. There is one good thing in this movie, and it's Thor and Loki's relationship. I think they basically just took everything from the first movie and made it bad. Well, no, not exactly, because one criticism of the first movie was that it's very Earth-focused, which I don't mind. Obviously, I like it more than this one. But I feel like they took that and went, oh, well, we'll just move our Earth characters to Asgard, which doesn't work, because a lot of people also didn't like the Earth characters. I like them just fine. I think Darcy gets way too much hate than she deserves. I think she's a fine character. But, all of them are just fine. Doesn't help that Natalie Portman does not give a shit at this point. She needs to stop doing franchise movies because she gets so sick of them so quickly. She needs to keep doing independent films instead. But it's just everything in this movie. The villain is not good, which doesn't... It's terrible. And the thing is, he's already not a good villain. And you're putting Loki in a movie with him? What are you doing? That is even worse of a way. It'd be bad enough if he was just on his own, but the fact that you also have a Loki in your movie is a terrible decision, objectively. There are some parts of this movie I really like. I really like all the Thor Loki stuff. I always forget how much Loki's death really gets me. But overall, it's just... I don't rewatch it. I don't want to rewatch it. It's kind of an important puzzle in the MCU, but I don't care. Also, quick side note. I will be saying spoilers for any movie that came out before 2018. Because I'm just assuming if you're watching my ranking of the MCU in April of 2019, you've seen at least everything before then. So everything, Black Panther and after, I will try not to give too many spoilers, or if I do, I'll give a warning. Before then, it's fair game. So, let's move on to number 19, which is a bit more controversial one, and that's Captain America: The First Avenger. I have several issues with this. The villain, again, not great. I don't necessarily always hold that against a movie, because most of these movies have, at the very least, not great villains, if terrible ones. There are 3 good villains in the MCU, and that's it. But that isn't this movie's only sin, is the problem. I think it doesn't understand when it needs to montage and when it shouldn't. I think it very poorly sets up Bucky and Steve's relationship, which is really bad for the future of the MCU, and it, in my opinion, makes Bucky's death lose all of its impact, because they haven't set up that friendship very well. We get a couple scenes of them, but it's never come across to me as the strongest relationship in that movie. I really like Steve and Peggy's dynamic. I love Peggy in general, but I do think they have a really nice kind of dynamic. Something about the plot just doesn't click for me. It's all just very dull for me. Which sucks, because this is one of the few movies where I find Steve remotely tolerable. We will get to my thoughts on Steve in future things on this list, because I have, again, some very controversial opinions in my bottom half of this list. But yeah, this entire movie, I feel I am never enthused when it's on. I never see anything in it that makes me go, yeah, that's good. It's objectively... It's a well-made film, I guess, but I never care. As I said, I am just so meh the whole time. There is nothing there for me. which is definitely not true for number 18, which is Avengers Age of Ultron. There is too much there. This is a movie where over time this has just steadily come down on my list. This used to be like a midway. Clearly not anymore. There's just so many things about this movie just don't work. Joss Whedon has just given up on life. He very clearly just wants death while doing this movie. And it shows on screen. I have issues with everything in this movie. I don't know what Joss Whedon's doing with Steve's characterization, but it's crap. And again, I don't like Steve, for the record. Set the tone of this rant. But it's just the whole like language thing. It's one joke, but it's so stupid. And it's such a little nitpick, but it doesn't feel this character at all. He was in the army in the 40s. Like, it's so dumb. I don't know what the fuck is going on with all the character dynamics. I feel like by this movie, we should feel like the characters care about each other. I don't think anyone in this team likes each other, and this kind of set the tone for the rest of the MCU in that none of the Avengers seem to like each other most of the time. Like, Clint and Natasha are heterosexual life partners, and Bruce and Tony have a good dynamic, but other than that, it doesn't seem like anyone cares about anyone. Bruce and Natasha's relationship is the stupidest thing ever because she has pre-established connection with Clint and Steve and Tony, but they pick Bruce. It's so dumb. The whole she can't have kids storyline is a mess. And the way they use that, that could be interesting, it could be good, but it's just not. And the whole comparing herself to Bruce being the Hulk isn't great. That could have been done a lot better. I appreciate the efforts to have more Clint, but it doesn't work. I don't hate the Maximoffs. I have issues with the fact that they are not Romani and Elizabeth Olsen's not Jewish, but that isn't even the crux of the issue. I just think they're utilized really poorly. Ultron has so much potential and is such a boring villain. Vision is incorporated in such a weird way that I don't like. I'm aware this is not Joss Whedon's fault. I'm aware this is Marvel's fault, but Thor's stupid fucking subplot, I hate it, especially as it goes to nothing. Ragnarok didn't use it at all because Taika Waititi was like, that's dumb. This entire movie, it's just a giant mess. I don't know why we all loved it so much when it first came out, because it's bad. There are little moments in this that I really like. Like, I really like the party scene. I think that's all really fun. Like, Thor with the alcohol, apart from the Bruce Tosh stuff, but like Thor with the alcohol and Stanley's cameo, and like, I think that scene's really fun. And there are like I actually like Clint's family on the farm. I have issues with Clint's characterization as a whole, but in isolation I like that. But overall, this movie's a fucking mess. Coming in at number 17 is Doctor Strange. I don't get the hype. Part of it is just that I don't like Stephen Strange, I think. If I wanted to watch a character like this, I would put it on Iron Man, because it does it better, in my opinion. I just find him very insufferable, because he doesn't care about anyone. That's the thing. They replicated Tony, except they took out the part where Tony cares about Rhodey, and cares about Happy, and cares about Pepper. Stephen doesn't care about anyone. Ever. It is a crime to underuse Rachel McAdams in the way they do. Never has she been more underutilized. Seriously. Like, oh my god. She gets underutilized anyway, but this movie is particularly egregious. I also have serious issues with the whitewashing. I don't know why it had to happen. I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch is that good as Doctor Strange. Like, he's not terrible, but this is easily one of his lesser roles. He's doing Sherlock, but quippier and with an American accent. That's not very good, which is weird because he can do a really good American accent, but in this, for some reason, it's just not there. I love Mads Mikkelsen, but he's a terrible villain. I do like the final battle. I think it's interesting. I think it's a play on the formula, and I do like the idea of magic, but I also think the way they go about it is really boring. Like, I don't think they could have found a more boring way to tell this story. I just don't. The fact is, the best part of your movie should not be me seeing Thor in the end credits scene. Coming at 16 is Iron Man 2. I think this is just like a smidge higher on my list than most people's, and that is entirely because I love the characters. I love Tony Stark. He's my favorite character in the MCU. I love Pepper, I love Rhodey, I love Happy, I love Natasha in this movie. I have issues with her sexualization, but as a character, I like her in this movie. Villain's really bad. Which is not breaking news to anyone. I just felt like I would mention. This is gonna be a recurring thing, but I just felt like I would mention it. And there are just lots of this movie's plot is not there, which is why it's so low on my list. Because if I was looking just at characters, it'd be much higher. But the plot is just so uncompelling, and like I don't care about the guy with the whips. I don't care about friggin' Sam Rockwell. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you can have a bad villain, but the villains in this movie just take up so much of the movie, and I just don't care. Like, this movie is so easy to just fast forward through, is my big issue with it. I fast forward through so much of it when watching it, because I don't care. Coming at number 15 is the first Thor. This is definitely lower on my list than other people's. I really like Thor as a character. I like him in this movie. That's another thing. Dark World, he's very boring as a character. In this one, I think he's fun. I don't know why Marvel looked at this movie and went, yes, we should not have Thor be funny until Taika Waititi comes along, because he's hilarious. Like, how did they look at this and not give Chris Hemsworth more funny stuff to say? Like, how did Joss Whedon look at this and not go, I could give Thor some funny things to say? Because he's really funny in several moments in this movie. I actually like the Earth stuff, but I don't know, the Asgard politics tend to bore me a little bit. Like, I love Loki, don't get me wrong. His peak is Avengers in my opinion, but he's still so much fun in this movie. But like the whole family betrayal kind of angle, I don't really care about. The Warriors 3, I care about Lady Sif like this much, but the Warriors 3, I literally couldn't care less about. This movie is just full of, it's half a movie that I like. I like all the Earth stuff, like genuinely. This has the best of Hawkeye in the MCU, which is depressing, because this is his first appearance in which he's not even credited. Like, it is less than a cameo, and yet it's his best appearance, which really upsets me. I still love Phil Coulson, and he's in this movie, like, but this entire, I never want to rewatch it. I might rewatch some scenes on YouTube, but that's it. Ooh, we are getting controversial. Coming number 14 is Avengers Infinity War. This was in my bottom 10 movies of 2018, and I watched around 60. I can acknowledge this is an objectively well-made film. It is. There are some moments in it that I love. This movie made me bawl like a baby. But I also don't like it very much. And I think my real issue is that I don't like a lot of the characters who are getting, like, the center stage. I don't like Peter Quill. I don't like Stephen Strange. I don't like Steve Rogers. So whenever they're on screen, I don't want them to be there. I find them insufferable most of the time. So every single time they're on screen, I just want them to leave and it ruins the experience. I think Thanos is a good villain. I don't love him though. I think Josh Brolin is really good at portraying him. And I don't think he's terrible, and I don't have issue with the fact that his plan is illogical, because I know he's not human, but he is only human, so like, of course it would be. I don't have issue with that. I just think as a character, he's very uncompelling. Which, like, that's what made Loki so compelling. It wasn't his motive, it was just his characterization. Which, Thanos is completely uncompelling to me. There are so many just scenes in this movie that I guess are necessary, but I don't want to watch. There are so many, like, weird little fight scenes I don't care about. I don't know, there's just something about this movie that I just don't like it a lot of the time. So, I can't even explain it in a lot of ways. I can't go on, like, an Age of Ultron rant. It just does nothing for me, and I never want to rewatch it. I haven't rewatched it ever, and I'm not going to rewatch it for Endgame. So, here's hoping Endgame's better, although by the looks of it, we're getting a lot of Steve Rogers in it, so maybe not. Speaking of Steve Rogers, coming in at number 13, Captain America Civil War. I have fundamental issues with this movie. Namely, the fact that the conflict makes no sense. First of all, Steve is wrong. That's like the real crux of the issue for me, is that Steve is objectively wrong in so many different ways, and it pisses me off. It's a movie about him, and yet I'm never on his side, which I feel like is bad, because like in that final fight, I'm not on his side at all. I think he was wrong in not telling Tony that Bucky killed his parents. I think he was wrong to do that, and it makes me want Tony to murder him. I don't like how condescending Steve is either. But aside from that, the conflict doesn't work because we've been shown no indication that Steve and Tony like each other. So when Steve says he's my friend and Tony says but so was I, that doesn't work. Because in the comics, sure, in Avengers Assemble, the fantastic animated series, definitely. Civil War makes so much more sense in that show because Steve and Tony are so close in Avengers Assemble, and they do consider each other these very close friends. In these movies, they're co-workers who tolerate one another. They were so wrapped up in making sure that we knew that the Avengers weren't totally in sync, and you know, they had conflict, that they've got to show us that they like each other. So it just fundamentally doesn't work. Also, most people in the teams are given no motivation, and for some people like Peter, that works. He doesn't need motivation. But why the fuck is anyone on Team Cap doing it? Like, Bucky makes sense. Wanda, I guess, is just doing it to spite Tony. But everyone else is on that team for no reason. It just... I don't love the action either. I don't love the airport scene. Yeah, I have serious issues with the fundamentals of the plot because it makes no sense and so much of it is... Coming in at number 12, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't actually know if this would be considered low or high, because it's about mid-range. I will say I don't like Guardians as much as anyone else, but I do really like it. I think this is a fun movie. But it is a movie where about halfway through, I lose interest. I really love the first half of this movie, but like, especially the third act, I just don't care. Villain, again, not great. I also don't like Peter Quill. I think he's a smug dickhead, and I prefer everyone else on the team much more. Yeah, that's my big thing. I think it's okay, but I don't ever want to watch past the halfway point. But it's still good. We are getting to the part of my list where I like all these movies quite a lot. Coming at number 11, we have Ant-Man. I like this movie quite a bit. I'm kind of just like where most people are. We're like, it's good. I really like Scott Lang. I think he's probably one of my favorite protagonists in the MCU. I love a lot of side characters. My issue is that I feel like a lot of them aren't given a lot of time to shine, like Hope and like everyone basically. I feel like they're just not given a lot to do, which makes sense because it is the first movie, but that kind of dampens a little bit for me. I do like the character arcs in this movie. I like the arc of Scott with his ex-wife and her new husband. I like kind of that whole thing. The villain is shit. Like, he's just, again, so incredibly uncompelling. But overall, this movie, I think it's fun. I really like Michael Cera in it. I love Sam Wilson in it. I love me some Sam Wilson. I'm so excited for hopefully maybe getting a Falcon Winter Soldier TV show on Disney+. Disney+, I'm gonna get it now. They are just throwing out everything I want. So, yeah, I like a lot. This is a movie where the main thing, but all the side things I love. Coming at number 10 is Captain America the Winter Soldier. Piggybacking off of all my other ones, I don't like Steve Rogers, which dampens this movie, but I do like, this is obviously my favorite Captain America movie. I do like a number of things in this movie. I don't think the plot's actually that great, like the way that other people say it is. I don't think it's a great espionage movie, but I like Steve, like Natasha. I really like their chemistry with each other, like their platonic chemistry. Nick Fury's fine in it. I didn't care about him until literally Captain Marvel. But I think he's fine, he's functional. As we've established, I love me some Sam Wilson, so anytime Sam's on screen, I am here for it. But overall, yeah. Also, for a movie called Captain America the Winter Soldier, not very much Winter Soldier. And again, I stand by, the first Avenger does very little to set up this relationship, so it doesn't totally work. And I do like all of Winter Soldier stuff. I think Sebastian Stan is very good at portraying both Bucky and Winter Soldier, and now this kind of both of them that he's done now. I do like him. I just don't think it's very well done in the movie. It's not his fault. And yeah. Coming at number 9 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Controversial opinion. I actually like this movie a lot more than sequel. This will come up in a few movies. Part of it is literally just... So you know how I said with, like, for example, Iron Man 2, where I really like the characters, but the plot is just so bad. If the plot's just okay and the characters are great, that's what puts it higher up on the list, and that's what happens with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think the plot is a little bit convoluted, a little bit too much happening, but I just love these characters so much. I love how it expands on the characters in Ant-Man. It gives Hope and Scott's family and all them a bit more chance to shine. I love the humor in it. I mean, you can never go wrong with putting Michelle Pfeiffer in your movie. I stand by that, but she's especially great in this. I really like Ghost. I think the like, Black Market dude is kind of just like, let's just throw in another antagonist. Whatever. But I really like Ghost. I'm really glad they didn't kill her off, because, oh, I'm sorry, I said no spoilers after 2018. That's not a big spoiler, I don't think, so it's fine. But I'm happy they didn't kill her off, because I'm really interested in seeing where she goes in future movies. I doubt there'll be another Ant-Man movie, but maybe a show on the streaming service or something. That could work. But yeah, I really like this movie. I also really like the whole, like, FBI subplot. I think it's fun. And as I said, I love Scott Lang. He's one of my favorite protagonists. Coming at number 8 is Captain Marvel. This one I promise I don't give spoilers for, because I'm aware it's still in theaters. I really like this movie. I think it's really fun. I love Carol as a protagonist. I love her arc. I love most of the side characters. I love Maria and Monica. I really like Fury in this one. He's still not, like, my favorite ever, but I think he's really fun in this one. I like Phil in this one, even though there's not enough of him, objectively speaking. Because I said, I have this very strange love of Phil Coulson. Not enough to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's still there. I really like the way the Skrulls were handled. This is probably my favorite Ben Mendelsohn role. I also like that he's using his real accent. Represent. Love that. Jude Law does nothing for me, I will say that. As an actor, he does lots for me, but his character really does nothing for me. I love Gemma Chan's character. She and Carol were very clearly girlfriends, just saying. I love a lot about this movie. I love the plot. I think it's really fun. I love Carol's character. I love all the performances. I think they're really good. I hope that we get a sequel of some kind. I'm assuming it would be set more in present day, but I'm just very excited to see more of Carol in the MCU. I really like the ending, like the whole climax. I think it's great, like how she responds to the villain, because I don't want to spoil anything, but the way that she handles the villain, I love. I think it's great. And yeah, I really like this movie. It is probably my second favorite straight up origin movie. You'll see what I mean by that later. Coming at number 7 is The Avengers. I'm always surprised every time I watch this movie how much I really like it. It's just such a solid, fun movie. Like, there's nothing great or like, oh my god, it's mind-blowing happening in it. It's just so much fun. And there's some weird artistic choices made. Like, after Clint, like, wakes up out of the, like, brainwashing and there's, like, this weird fucking filter. I don't know what Joss Whedon was smoking when he made that choice. But on the whole, I just really like this movie. This is a movie where it feels like they are kind of begrudgingly co-workers, but then by the end they learn to respect one another. And then they decide to repeat that in future movies instead of growing from that, which was a weird artistic choice, but not the point. I'm talking about Avengers. I really like all the cast as these characters. I really like... Not that I said I haven't seen Incredible Hulk. I really like Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, though, in general, and as Bruce Banner. I love him and Tony in particular together. Science husbands, what up? I really like... this is my favorite of Loki. Like, I love how he has turned out, but oh my god, he is so deliciously just evil in this, and it's so much fun. And I just love the drama of him. And this movie does make me hate Steve. I have fundamental issues with the way he treats Tony. And that's not just me being a Tony stan, I just think he's being very unfair to someone who has done nothing wrong. But not the point. Yeah, this is just a really fun, solid movie. Coming at number 6 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I know I put this higher than I think most people would, but it's the same thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I can acknowledge the plot is not great, which is why both of these don't crack my top 5. But I love his character so much. Peter Quill is much more bearable in this movie, in my opinion, mostly because he's getting called out when he's a douchebag, which I appreciate. But God, I just love these characters so much. This movie makes me cry on several occasions, which is impressive. You'll notice a lot of movies towards the top of this list just make me feel something, like, and that's why part of the reason why I love it so much. And this is probably the MCU movie that makes me feel the most things. I cry at so many points. Was this the 2017 release? Yes, okay, so I feel fine spoiling things. I cry when Ego says it broke my heart to put the tumor in her head. I cry when they're being mean to Groot. I cry when Yondu is just yelling truths at Rocket. I cry when Yondu dies, but my biggest crying, and this is what I love so much about these movies, Nebula and Gamora. I love their relationship so much. And the part when they're fighting, and Gamora says, it's obvious what you want, and Nebula says, you wanted to win, I just wanted a sister. I sob every single time. I love this movie. I would highly recommend Lindsay Ellis's video on it. It's very good. And I love the emotional depth of this movie, and I love all the characters, even, okay, I don't love Peter, but I don't hate him either, which is impressive, and I just love everyone else. It's just, yeah, it hits me, man. It hits me right here. Coming at number 5 is Iron Man 3, which is controversial as fuck. The plot is not great. For one thing, people need to get the fuck over the Mandarin twist, because you'll live. It's like, come on. But I like the Mandarin twist. I have no problem with it. I don't like that the villain we end up with is more boring than the Mandarin, but I still don't hate it. I love Tony. Tony is so good in this. I don't like that his anxiety is cured by the end, but everything leading up to that I love. And like, I love Pepper. I love everything at the end with her. I love the fact that she has now officially killed 2 MCU villains technically, which I just think is really cool. I love Rhodey. I can never remember. Is it Harley or Harvey? Because I actually really like, I think it's Harley. I actually really like him, which is also not an overly popular opinion. But I also love just the anxiety rep in this movie. I think it's so good. I love how realistic it is. And yeah, this movie, similar to Guardians Volume 2 and Ant-Man and the Wasp, not all of the plot is there. It gets a bit messy towards the end. The ultimate villain isn't great, but I love this movie. Coming number 4 is Iron Man. This is my favorite, just straight up origin movie. I love it. Similar to Avengers, I always forget how much I enjoyed until I watched it again, because it's just, I have nothing wrong with it. The villain's not great, but even then, the villain's not terrible either. Like, particularly in terms of MCU villains, he's fine. He's serviceable. But I love Tony. I love the way he's portrayed. I love his characterization. I love his relationships with Happy and with Pepper and with Rhodey, and I just love his character so much. And also, it's just a really solid movie. Like, it has a really good, tight script. And, well, it actually didn't, ironically, which is amazing, because it feels like it does, but so much of this, people thought this was gonna suck. Like, people were like, people were working it were like, this is a mess, this is gonna bomb, and then it became really fucking good. I love this movie. Now, we're heading into the top 3, all of which are much more recent movies. Okay. Coming at number 3 is Thor Ragnarok. I love this movie so much. I literally have no issue with it. I love the villain. I love Hela. I agree. She's not super compelling, but she's compelling enough, and Cate Blanchett is just having such a blast playing her that I love it. I love Thor in this movie. I love his relationship. I love Loki and the Grandmaster's relationship, and I'm hoping we get a short film of some kind about them fucking. Not of them fucking, I don't want a porno, I just want acknowledgement of that, because they very clearly are, and Jeff Goldblum has acknowledged it. So I think they should just do what Jeff Goldblum wants, guys. I love, again, Bruce and Thor, also clearly fucking. I love their relationship in general, though. I think it's great. I also love Valkyrie. I love her relationship with Thor. I love her friendship with Bruce. Every character's dynamics is so good. I love Korg. Like, reminds me of, bear with me, Parks and Rec, in the way of, you could pair anyone off in this movie and it'll work and it'll be great. Yeah, I agree there are some parts where I'm like, just let the moment sit, you know, we don't need to make a joke. But in general, I love this movie. I love the resolution of this movie. It has the best usage of the Immigrant Song. Second best use of the Immigrant Song after Shrek 2. Fight Me. Shrek 2. Jamie, get your Shrek lore right. Shrek 3. Third time's a charm. Fight me. I love this movie. Coming number 2 is Spider-Man Homecoming. This movie, again, always forget how much I love it till I rewatch it. I love everything about it. It has my favorite villain in the MCU. Vulture is my favorite villain, and I am so excited for Spider-Man Far From Home so I can see him again. I love Peter, I love Liz, I love MJ, I love Ned, I love Flash in a weird way. I love Aunt May, I love Happy, I love Tony, I love everyone in this movie. I love its portrayal of Peter Parker. I love just his I love it! It's so good! And yeah, I have nothing else to say. I just love this movie so much. And I'm going to be saying the same thing about my number 1, Black Panther. I just love everything about it. Like, I agree. I don't love the end fight. I wish it wasn't a fight. I wish it was like a conversation. But other than that, and even then, I really like looking at the fight. I love that. I love all the characters. Every single character in this movie, I either genuinely love or find so compelling that I can't fully hate them. I think Killmonger, while not my favourite, is definitely one of the best villains in the MCU. I love T'Challa as a protagonist. I love all the women in this movie. I think they're all great. I love it. And there it is. There is my ranking of 20 of the 21 films in the MCU. I'm gonna assume that you really disagree with me in at least one of these, because I do have some very controversial opinions. But comment below your list, maybe. Your top 5, your bottom 5. Am I really wrong about something? Comment anything down below, as long as it's not me. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see usually bookish content, even though it wasn't this week. This, I'm guessing, will not be posted on a Sunday, just because I have a fuckload of assignments. But if it is, cool. You'll get them every Sunday. If not, you will usually get them every Sunday, even though this is probably coming out on a Tuesday. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!